Hey everybody, it's Tyler with Cutthroat Research again, and we are bringing you more Keyforge content. In this video, I have the footage from a recent Chainbound event that I went to. On the screen now is the deck lists for round 1. I am playing Beast Pack Spawn of Sunmaw, and my opponent is playing T. Shurga, the Drag Speedster. So I'm playing my deck with 15 chains. It is becoming a hard mountain to climb, as you'll see through these gameplay videos. It doesn't always go quite as smoothly. I think I might be getting to a point where maybe I don't keep trying to play this chain deck and go back to playing some other decks again. So I open with a Speed Sigil. It might not be the greatest play with my opponent because he has a very fast deck, but I like to open with it for my own reasons as well. I now drop a Nepenthe Seed and Niffle Queen. So he's going to gain a ton of amber on this turn. His deck is pretty fast, has a lot of passive amber gain. Here, it's one of those tempo shifts that I've talked about this deck having, where I Relentless Whispers, Nepenthe Seed the Relentless Whispers, and now, you know, I took about some of his amber away and shifted tempo more towards me for a minute, but he still got to forge a key. His deck just has a lot of passive amber, and the chains, the difference in chains really does start to get to you when you hit that third tier, when you're opening with 3 less cards, and if you have 3 less cards for a turn or two, it can be a backbreaker. Just chains in general, I think this shows just how effective they are, because at a certain point it really doesn't matter how good your deck is. If your opponent knows what they're doing, your chains are gonna really put you into a stumble. I sped up all this gameplay footage because I wanted to fit all 3 games into a single video for you guys and not have it drag on too long. I don't imagine I'll be talking too much about the games, but rather just chains in general and trying to play around them. With this deck, I was at 12 chains when I decided I'm going to keep trying to put chains on it, and it's been a series of like get 2 chains, lose a chain, get 2 chains, lose a chain, and just a slow climb like that. If your record ends positive at a Chainbound event, you gain chains. If it ends negative, you lose a single chain, and if it's even, no changes happen. I believe it discounts buys, so buys will count towards your record for the event, but will not count towards chains. For example, if you go 2-1 and one of your wins was a buy, it counts as going 1-1 for the purposes of chains, as far as I believe. So here, my opponent already has 2 keys, and he's on check for his third. Goes to 7 amber, which is smart against a deck with Shadows. Shadows has a lot of way to pluck a single amber off. Here, I'm looking over my hand, but I'm pretty sure at this point my only play is to try and rip a bait and switch off the top using Chaos Portal. So I do the Neutron Shark play just to get rid of Dexter, and then I go for that and reach the handshake. So that was game 1. I did lose that one. Excuse me. This is game 2. I'm still playing the same deck, same tournament, same day. My opponent's playing Libra Wish, the Blaze Fighter of Cities. It is another very fast deck. He's got a lot of passive amber control and passive amber gain. Dislogo Shadows might be one of my favorite house combos for Call of the Archons, the first set, due to just Logos having amazing support, Dis having amazing control, and Shadows having great just amber control. You can just really kind of make the game go the way you want. He has a weak opening with Urchin, but he did mulligan and ended up, I don't know if I'd like a deck with 2 bad pennies, but there they are. Bad penny you just can't get rid of. In this game, I actually do also make a pretty big misplay due to tunnel visioning. I'm focusing too much on my game and playing around my chains that I don't pay enough attention to his board. So I play Time Traveler, try to empty my hand, draw some cards. He takes his turn here. I think he just reaps with everything, which is already just rough. Or pawn sacrifice, that's pretty good. Replays his bad pennies. Reaps and reaps. Then he drops a dodger. And then on my turn, I just try to rebuild a little bit of a board, empty my hand. With chains, sometimes you have to make an ineffective play, not only because you don't have the cards, but because you want to make sure you're drawing as much as possible. And he just keeps building his shadows and really taking advantage of the fact that I'm momentum way behind due to my chains. I think a lot of people have a stigma of chains when they start this game, but I think they're really an effective tool. They add a layer of, one, challenge to players who want to keep playing the same deck. If your deck's good, and if you're an adaptive, intuitive player, chains really shouldn't affect you too much until you start getting into the double digits. I mean, I've piloted decks with like 3 to 6 chains, and it barely felt like a difference. But once you get to a point where it evens out, like 15 chains it's kind of insane, guys. I challenge any of you guys, play some fun games against your friends. Try out different numbers of chains and see how it changes the way you have to play the deck. But it is a good tool to also learn what the good plays are in your deck and learn how to make more efficient plays with less cards. I think that's one of the strongest things I gained from playing this chain deck over and over, is learning really efficient plays using less cards, which usually isn't something that's too important in Keyforge, because you want to use as many cards as possible to draw more. But I don't know, it's always good to look at a puzzle from different angles, and Keyforge is kind of a puzzle. So here he's already forged his second key, and I have no amber, no keys. I'm just kind of getting stomped on this game. And then I scoop it, yep. And in that last game, I'm pretty sure that the tunnel vision part I was talking about is I forgot about his Nexus when I dropped the Nepenthe Seed, and just he blew me out of the water with it. So, you know, not only pay attention to your game, but make sure you're paying attention to your opponent's board, what was in their deck when you looked at their list. These are important things. This is the third game of the evening. I'm playing against a brand new player. I actually know him personally. I'm playing the same deck, and he's playing the Properly Cordial Crony of Skandavik. This is a gentleman I know. He used to play HeroClix with me. He played Magic kind of casually, and I also have just known him for a few years because he's been going to the same local shop I've been going to since we were honestly like in like middle school. I think we've both been going forever. So he's learning the game. He's liking Keyforge. He didn't want me to like super help him out. He did, you know, he's learning and he wants some guidance, but he didn't want me to like explicitly point out any plays to him, he said. So this is kind of a longer game. I'm trying to hold his hand and walk him through it. It's his first event, and you know, hopefully he comes back. I know he says he really enjoys the idea of the game, and the deck he has isn't that bad. It's got a lot of archiving. It's got a good Logos main house. There I'm explaining to him the whole how you can only, unless Fila's already there, you only draw for creatures being put on her flank. So, I mean, this is just a quick gameplay video. I sped it up so you guys could see. Really, the biggest thing I wanted to show you guys is how much chains really can. Some weeks, you know, I get through with the chains just fine. I get a little bit lucky, get a little bit over that mountain, and I get 2-1. I've been doing a lot of games with this 15 chain deck, hitting 2 Chainbound events a week for like the last month. I've gained only three chains on it, just because, you know, you go 2-1, then you lose 1-2, then you go 2-1, you lose 1-2. So I think I am going to shelve this deck for a little bit, and especially with leaderboards coming up, that huge announcement for locals. You're going to want to perform more well at locals to get those sweet, sweet alternate art cards. That's a really cool program. Just excited for Keyforge in general. I'm going to try and get either tournament videos like this where I speed them up, or single game videos up. At least one a week is my goal. Just to give you guys something to look at. I'll go over them. If you guys like me just talking over them like this, you know, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards more so. But if you guys would rather see me go over the game in more detail, like go play by play, I could do that too. I have a couple other friends who want to get in on this as well. I know Ryan, we tried recording one of his games at the tournament, but the footage ended up not working out well for one reason or another. The camera died in the middle of the game and we didn't realize it, and so we were going to try and have one of his games recorded as well. It was in the last round, but we missed it. This was also a 4-round tournament, and my last opponent had to leave before we started playing, so I don't have the footage from that either. But I'm really excited. This was a Chainbound event. We had 12 people, 13 with the person who left, and that's a decent showing. We really, our community's starting to grow. We're getting more people playing. We have more people showing interest now that it is growing, and it's very exciting to see a resurgence like that in your locals, especially when you're passionate about the game like me and Ryan from the podcast and some of our local buddies. We're all pretty passionate about this game and want it to stick around. Yeah, my opponent's deck here, now that the footage is playing while I'm talking here, and it is pretty good. Like, it's not the worst deck to bring to a locals. I don't know if it's quite Voltor level, but yeah, any deck is Voltor level if you know it well enough, honestly. That was a big discussion me and some friends were having. Like, some people in the group, in the big Keyforge group on Facebook, were talking about how the game is too much. You have to buy way too many decks to get a really good deck. I think people are just being really picky with it. I mean, you can do well with a deck that might not look perfect on paper. You can do really well with a deck if you know it well and you're savvy with the mechanics of the game. I don't think you need an amazing bulletproof deck to make day 2 of a Vault Tour. I really don't hold fast to that belief at all. I think that, I mean, honestly, that's one of the best parts about this game, is I think it's a thinking man's game for a good chunk of it, more so than some other games. I like that it rewards you for knowing your deck better than your opponent. It rewards you for having a better knowledge of the card pool, of the mechanics. This game, you get a lot of cool big brain plays, and it feels good. I mean, there's not that many feel bad moments in Keyforge comparatively to other games. Like, one of the biggest drawbacks to Magic, in my opinion, that when I was playing at Grand Prix and regionals that I would hit, is at least once a tournament I would have a game that was just unplayable because I didn't draw the resources I needed to play certain cards. Like, you know, you get mana starved in Magic and you just can't play your hand, or you don't draw any lands at all. Or in the other flip of the coin, you draw too many lands and not enough cards to play with them. It can definitely be frustrating, especially when you invest some time to travel for it, and it happens when you're on a bubble match where it determines whether or not you get a payout or make day 2. I feel that those variants are just here in different, less frustrating ways for Keyforge. I almost never feel like I got robbed of a win because I drew badly or my opponent drew well. At least not to the same extent. I mean, that's going to be in any card game with randomized decks, but it's much less of a feel bad. I honestly do believe that. So, well, I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think Keyforge has more salty moments? Do you think Keyforge feels like it has more variance than other card games that you've played in the past? And what other card games have you played in the past? So far, Keyforge is hands down my favorite card game, and I've played, oh man, if I'm going back, I've played the Pokemon card game when I was really young. I got pretty serious into that. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Magic. I played the Naruto CCG, the Dragon Ball CCG, and with the Naruto and the Dragon Ball CCG, I actually did fairly well. If anyone played those, let me know, because that was a fun community to be a part of, and be a part of in the competitive community too down here in Florida. But Keyforge is, I'm really glad I found Keyforge, and I'm really glad that it seems to be taking off in a pretty big way, both locally and other places. It's just a very rewarding game, and I just love it. So this footage here is still just me helping him out with his first game. It's not the most exciting game. Definitely not as exciting as watching me get trounced the first 2 rounds by opponents who definitely know what they were doing. But that's the game, man. I have a local Chainbound today as well. I am recording this the day of. It'll be going up on YouTube. It'll probably upload about the same time as the podcast episode that me and Ryan will be recording here soon. And looking forward to talking about some big news that dropped this week for Keyforge involving organized play and the state of the game in general. Like I said, I'm sorry to ramble a bit here towards the end, but like I said, this really, normally I might not have uploaded a video like this, but it was more to show just how effective chains can be. I think they work as intended for sure, because they don't just shut you out flat out, but they do make it a much harder mountain to climb to get your deck to perform the way it normally does. Like, even against this current opponent's deck, I think the only reason I ended up squeaking out the win is due to his inexperience. If he was more comfortable with the game or more savvy with the mechanics, I think he probably could have beat me too, because 15 chains is at a point where if you're playing against someone with none or 2 or 3, you're just at such a deficit for cards. I mean, if you end up playing a total of 10 turns, you're talking about 30 cards maybe. I'm just doing quick math, that you're seeing less than your opponent, depending on how many cards you're playing out of your hand. And when you have less cards, it makes it less likely you're able to play all of them or a bigger chunk of them. It feels like chains. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's named very well. It feels like you're running around with some chains on, hindering your movement. So it's an effective tool. I still like this deck. I think it might be what I'm bringing to Store Championship, but I'm not going to discount finding maybe a miracle deck that I might just love more. Thinking about doing a box opening for the channel. I'm not sure just quite how I would format that or what I would talk about while I did it, but if that's something people are interested in, please just leave a comment, let me know. You can also email us at cutthroatlabs@gmail.com, as well as message either one of us on Facebook personally. You can find us in the Keyforge group. Tyler and Ryan, we're posting a lot, and yeah, I think this game's about to wrap up here, and I have a great time with this game. I'm going to be recording more gameplay today at our local Chainbound event, and I'm hopefully only getting better at this. Sorry that at the end here I've been rambling. I should have came in with a more concise script to talk about here, but really, I just want to talk about chains a little bit and just their efficacy, which, let's be real, the more chains you have, the more effective they are at slowing you down, that's for sure. Like, comment, subscribe. Like we said in the past, when I hit 50 subscribers on this channel, I'm going to do a box opening, even if I've already done one. And maybe we'll give a deck from that box opening away. No, you know what? I'll just go with it. When we hit 50 subscribers, I'll do a box opening, and the first deck we open from that box we'll give away. So you'll see it right there on camera, what deck it is, what the list is, and we'll do a random pick from our subscribers, and we'll just do one of our subscribers who commented on that box opening will get that first deck. So like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get some giveaways going. I know Ryan's also giving away a deck at 100 subs. He has a deck with triple Cutthroat research that's kind of novel, but it'll be a fun little giveaway. And we're talking to some other people in our local area to expand what we're doing here. So keep an eye out for that. If this is something you like, hopefully you like it more in the future. I'm having a great time doing it, if anything else, just for me and a few friends, just so I could go back and relook at all this stuff and try to be a better player. Until next time, guys, we'll see you soon. Keep on forging keys and keep on being good to each other. Thanks.